Today, we are going to be talking about the top strategies and techniques that all narcissists use to escape accountability for their lies and abuse. And trust me when I tell you, if you are not aware of these manipulation tactics, chances are very, very, very high that you will eventually succumb to them, resulting in you giving up on holding the narcissist accountable. These tactics are incredibly successful at confusing the victim, shifting blame off of the narcissist and onto someone else, usually you, and can even actually make the victim believe that they are somehow responsible for what the narcissist is guilty of doing, which can result in deep feelings of despair, frustration, confusion, and even guilt or shame in the victim. So if you have ever wondered what manipulation tactics narcissists utilize on you to escape any form of accountability, today's video is for you. But first, if you're new to this channel, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you and invite you to please subscribe and be sure and hit that notification bell because I put out new videos every week. Also, if you are interested in private one-on-one narcissistic abuse recovery coaching with me, please visit my website. It's linked in the description below. So today we are talking about the top strategies and manipulation tactics all narcissists use on their victims to escape accountability for their lies and abuse. And the first one we are going to talk about is called word salad. Word salad is a technique that narcissists use to confuse their victims by using a stream of nonsensical, disjointed, and sometimes contradictory words and phrases. Many times it includes circular conversation patterns with constant changing of the subject. This strategy is among one of the most common manipulation tactics used when a narcissist is confronted with their lies and abusive behavior and wants to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. So, for example, when confronted, a narcissist might use word salad to change the subject, deflect blame, or create confusion and frustration. They might use long, convoluted sentences that are difficult to follow, or they might switch topics mid-conversation. They also use circular reasoning, making statements that appear to address the issue, but actually say very little. Essentially, word salad is a conversational and language gymnastics, and it's beyond confusing. It's meant to keep the listener off balance, and the goal is always to escape accountability. Next, narcissists are famous for using something called projection to avoid and escape being held accountable for their abusive behavior. Projection is a technique where they will actually blame you for doing the exact things they themselves are guilty of doing. So, for example, if you have confronted them because you suspect they are cheating on you, guess what? Now you're going to start being accused of being unfaithful. Or if you catch them in a flat-out lie, now you're the actual liar. And most times when they use this technique, if you are not crystal clear about what is taking place here, you will jump into defensive mode, understandably so, and start defending yourself now against these ridiculous accusations instead of maintaining focus on what the narcissist did. And when that happens, the narcissist knows they have once again succeeded at deflecting blame onto you and defending yourself against accusations they know aren't true and that you aren't guilty of doing. So be aware when this tactic is used on you and don't take the bait. Another favorite strategy narcissists use to escape accountability from you is called leveling. Leveling usually happens when they know they have been caught and there isn't much chance that they will be able to get out of what they have done by using word salad or projection or other manipulation tactics. So what they do is level all the things you have done wrong in your life to essentially try and convince you that what you have done in the past is either worse than what they are guilty of doing in this moment, or at least make you feel equally as guilty of doing what they are guilty of. And it's really effective strategy because, again, it gets the focus off of them and onto you and whatever thing you have done in the past. Doesn't matter if whatever they are referring to was 100 years ago. Doesn't matter if it's nowhere close to being as horrible as what they have done. They are going to try and make it sound so horrible, so deplorable, that many times the victim will actually decide the narcissist is right. You, of course, aren't perfect. No one is. And you have made mistakes. And your empathetic nature takes over, and you let the narcissist off the hook yet again. Do not allow them to throw anything you have done in your past as a reason for them to escape accountability. Next, narcissists will use minimizing what they have done to try and convince you that you are making a way, way, way bigger deal about whatever it is that they have done than is reasonable or necessary. Essentially, they are going to tell you that you're way too sensitive and you are making a mountain out of a molehill. Many times they will say, nobody sensible, nobody who has any logic would think whatever you did is as bad as you are trying to make it into. And this will confuse an empathetic person because you actually care about being fair. You actually care about not being unreasonable. And no one knows this more than the narcissist. They are going to manipulate your core personality and character traits against you. They are going to use pity plays and guilt to make you think you are somehow way out of line for having a reaction and that what they did really isn't any big deal, which of course isn't true. That's a trick and a manipulation tactic they know they are using on you to escape accountability. Another very common manipulation strategy narcissists use to escape accountability for their lies and abuse is stonewalling. This is an abuse technique where they either refuse to speak to you about whatever they did. They may completely ignore the fact that you are standing right in front of them and speaking to them about this topic. They may leave or walk out of the room, shutting you out. They may even act as if you are completely invisible, refusing to acknowledge your presence at all. Essentially, it's a refusal to engage with you in any way to talk about what they did. Usually over time, this will wear the recipient completely down until eventually they just give up, which of course is exactly what the narcissist wants because it allows them to completely escape accountability for what they have done. Another really common strategy narcissists use is blame shifting, and it's very effective if the victim is unaware that this is happening to them. Blame shifting is where the narcissist blames you for being the reason they did what they did. Essentially, they are admitting they did whatever they are being accused of, but they are assigning the reason they did what they did to you, the victim. So, for example, if you caught the narcissist cheating, they might say that they wouldn't have had to cheat if you hadn't gained weight, so much weight. Or if you caught the narcissist in a lie, they might say, yeah, sure, they lied, but only because they have to, because you're so insecure and crazy. They had no choice but to lie to you. And again, this is very successful if you don't know what they are really doing here. It's incredibly successful at getting the actual victim to believe they are the reason the narcissist did this terrible thing. And once again, they are completely off the hook. Next, a very common tactic that narcissists use to escape accountability is triangulation. This is where they will try to blame someone else and pit you against this other person and hold that person responsible rather than holding the narcissist accountable. So now they wouldn't have done what they did if it wasn't for so-and-so, if they hadn't gotten involved or caused the problem to begin with. Very common tactic. So be aware and don't fall for this one. And finally, narcissists are famous for utilizing gaslighting to escape accountability. So now they may tell you that you're crazy, they didn't do what you were accusing them of doing, they have no idea what you're talking about, and something is wrong with you for thinking they did this deed they are now being accused of. Usually they try and make you think that you are imagining things or just completely batshit crazy for even thinking they did what you are accusing them of doing. And this is incredibly dangerous for the victim when it works. Because over time, when a victim is continually subjected to gaslighting, they will become more and more dependent on the narcissist's interpretation of what happened rather than relying on their own eyes, their own ears, and their own perceptions and beliefs. In severe cases, it can actually make the victim believe that they are losing their mind and must indeed be crazy, like the narcissist is continually telling them that they are. If any of you have never seen the movie Gaslight, I encourage you to watch that movie for an in-depth understanding about the dangers of gaslighting. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on my other social media platforms. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, everybody.